date with us every weekday to start your day. There's a lot of smiles that usher in your day, a lot of light moments. We take away the night stress and all that. But above all, we give you relevant information in the world of current affairs that you need to know both locally and internationally. Now, in this segment, I usually have a guest in this extension of Good Morning Uganda that runs from 9 to 10. I usually have a guest in studios with whom we discuss issues of national concern. And I have a young lawyer, really a young lad with me here this morning, with whom we are going to be discussing issues regarding citizenship. Now, who is a citizen? Recently, I saw someone talk about the national identity card, and he said, how does my citizenship expires after 10 years? Not knowing that, well, it is a document that may expire because it could have lost shape, torn, or anything, and other time it needs for you to get another document, not your citizenry. Welcome. That is Thierry Kahuma. Welcome to our studios.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chiravo. I'm once again honored and humbled to be appearing on UBC. Yes.
Well, I must say you're smart. I love your suit, the blend, the tie.
Oh, thank you so much.
Now
I'm actually envying yours.
This blazer?
Yeah.
Fairly.
I'm a fan of that kind of blue, so.
Well, it's Thursday and we try to loosen up away from the normal tie, full suit, and something.
You try and mellow down a little bit.
Actually, this colonial attire. If it were possible, and maybe I was here in a back cloth, people would think I'm demonic. That's how we're how we are brainwashed. If I came and did this show in back clothes,
let's say, what's going on?
Yeah. To be different.
Is Uganda now running mad?
How can you appear like that on national TV? But anyway, going to the point of the day, which happens to be citizenship in Uganda.
Yes.
Now, let's begin by defining this word citizenship for our public, for our viewers to understand.
Okay, a citizen or citizenship is a state of being in a certain country by virtue of its laws. So basically you are a person who belongs to that country by virtue of its laws and what its laws say. Now we have different types of citizenship. We have citizenship by birth, we have citizenship by registration, then we also have dual citizenship, and we also have citizenship by naturalization. So there are different categories on how one can become a citizen. Most of us in Uganda, we were born in Uganda. So by virtue of that, we were born on Ugandan soil, Ugandan airspace, and our birth certificates all say that we are Ugandan. Yes, so citizenship or a citizen is a state of being in a country by virtue of its laws. Now,
let me begin by understanding the 4 categories you've talked about. Let's dissect them.
Okay. We have the first one being by birth. I think that one is pretty straightforward. The moment anyone is born in the Republic of Uganda and there is proof of a birth certificate or the hospital that you're born in, most of us are born in Mulago, in Zambia, the big 4 hospitals.
So what if I'm a Somali, my dad moves from Somalia, comes to Uganda, later a Somali woman comes to Uganda, and I'm born here. Or in case someone is flying by plane, and then things worsen, and when they make a stop over here, does that automatically qualify me to be a citizen by birth?
Yes. If the Somali man and Somali woman give birth here in Uganda, the child automatically becomes a Ugandan citizen. So majority of the Somalis actually we see, or the Ethiopians or Eritreans or Sudanese who are here, the young people below 30, most of them are Ugandans by birth.
I have an Indian friend, very common on TikTok, and he says,
I know him very well. Mohammed.
I
know Mohammed very well. He's a good friend of mine.
I told him, don't, Mohammed, this time don't.
Mohammed is a Ugandan, trust me. Mohammed, if you're listening to me, you are Uganda.
Mohammed, very comical,
but you find that his parents were also born here, but his grandparents were born in India. So you find that he can, I will explain later, he can technically also apply for citizenship in India because his origin is that side. Yes, but for Mohammed's case or for most foreigners who we see here, most of them are actually born here.
Now I have another confusing fella. would I call him a politician? He's a confusing fella. He comes up with something called Bavandamwe. Have you ever heard of that? Bavandimwe. Now, who are those? Because he talks about being born here, then he says, can we find anywhere in the law where you can place that confusion?
Oh, you want me to explain? Oh, I think.
Or it is just something that someone is moving around with, confusing others and confused confuser.
Oh, I think you're referring to Mr. Frank Gashumba. I've met Mr. Frank a few times, but I'm a very avid follower of his. What Mr. Frank basically wants to state when he talks about Abavandimwe, it's a very sensitive issue, as you know, but I'll try and generalize it and help everyone understand. He talks about the Banyarwanda who were born here in Uganda. Now, we have Rwandese, or we have Rwandan nationals who belong in Rwanda. And those ones reside in Rwanda, they were born there and everything. Now, Abanyarwanda who were born here in Uganda, they were even made into a tribe of their own, as you know in the constitution. Yes. They are recognized as a tribe. So he's basically trying to say that Ugandans should remove this stereotype of calling us Rwandese. We are not Rwandese, we are Abanyarwanda, but we were born here in Uganda. So he came up with that whole issue of Abavandimwe to kind of put them in their own category. That look, I'll go back to history. Actually, he's right. Most of the Rwandese we meet here, their ancestors moved here in the 1920s, even 1800s. As you talked about the whole colonial part, they dressed us up, they have made us into what they wanted to make us. Uganda, Rwanda, there was almost no difference. It was just border. So you find that a Rwandese could have come from Rwanda and maybe had a family here in Buganda years ago. But because of this whole issue of the genocide in the 50s and 1994, Ugandans had this stereotype of, oh, this one must be Amnyarwanda from Rwanda. They must have run because of the genocide, which is not true. Some Rwandese we have here did that. Others were already here from existence, from the early 1900s, before we even attained independence. So when he talks about Abavandimwe, he means that we have rebranded ourselves to call ourselves, to make our own, we are our own people here in Uganda. Yes, our roots are from Rwanda, but we are born here, we have had our ancestry here from the 20s, from the 50s, so it's not right to bundle us with Rwandans who belong in Rwanda. So that's what he was basically trying to say. And he came up with that because many of the Banyarwanda, as we know them in Uganda, they face issues at immigration. When you're trying to get a passport, you're trying to get a national ID, they get issues there. They look at you and they say, you're called so and so. Once you see the name, maybe let's say Kaitesi, they say, you must be a Rwandan. And yet you find that our grandparents have been here.
You are Ugandan.
They were already Ugandans from the 20s.
Well, that was said. In case I need a lawyer, I must hire this young man. He explains things very well. Now,
so you understood the whole part of
I've understood very well. Now, by birth we live. Let's go to another category: registration.
By registration is actually the one which most people, most foreigners prefer to do, because, for example, if you look at what happened in Somalia, many of them have come here maybe as refugees, or they have come for search for a better life, even the Indians, or even Bazungu, as we normally call them, the whites. So I've interacted with so many Bazungu, even black Americans. And when they come here, they say, you know what, by the way, I'm from Germany, but I also applied for registration. I applied for citizenship by registration. So he has already applied to become a Ugandan citizen. They come here, they love our weather, they love the way we are. So, by the way, very welcoming people. So
they love our women.
That one is a very...
No, I've seen many of these people. When they come here, they marry girls from here.
Yeah.
They marry girls from here, so they love our women.
And they end up even giving birth to children. So citizenship by registration is where one applies to immigration offices. As you know, immigration is under Ministry of Internal Affairs. So you're going to apply to become a citizen of Uganda. So there are, of course, certain requirements that one needs. Part of those requirements, you need to show all your documents from your country of origin. I'll give you an example of maybe, say, an American comes here and they love Uganda so much, or a German citizen. So you need to produce all your documents. I'm from Germany, I was born there, I'm a German by origin. I'm expressing interest, but you don't just express interest by stating it. You need to file legal documents. You need to apply formally to immigration. In specific, the part which is in charge of citizenship. After that, you need to accompany it with a statutory declaration. I don't know if you've heard of that term. So we have an affidavit and a statutory declaration. But a statutory declaration is basically you are stating who you are, where you're coming from, what is your purpose of writing this document to immigration. So in that document, a foreigner will write that, you know what, I'm intending to become a citizen of Uganda for this and this reason. So once you attach all of your documents there, then you wait for them to get back to you.
So the time of stay that you will have spent in Uganda stipulated under the law for one to qualify for that?
I was actually going to that.
Okay.
So there's what they call permanent residency, or that may be a little technical. That is basically time under which you've spent in any given country, especially in the United Kingdom and United States. They mainly have that. I have some family friends, I'll just give an example, who went to the US in around 2013. So they stay in Tennessee, but it's not until 2021 is where they got citizenship to become American citizens. But from that long period of about 10 years, the government studies you to see whether you really have the heart for their country. Do you really want to be an American? Do you want to do this? Then they study you. Are you a criminal? Do you have any criminal record? So that's also what happens this side in Uganda. So if a foreigner wants to become a citizen through registration, they need to have shown the amount of time they have lived here. So they need to know, do you really have the heart for being a Ugandan? Do you really want to become a citizen? So if you've spent a considerable amount of time, it's a plus for you.
So two are down, now remaining two categories of through which someone can become a citizen. We've looked at birth, we've looked at registration. Let's look at 3 and 4.
Okay, 3 and 4. We have naturalization. So this one, in my own understanding of the law and how it comes about, is when you look at the word naturalization, nature. Let's say someone was born abroad. Maybe let's say they were born in Tanzania, but their parents are of Ugandan origin. You can be able to trace back your origin, and even when you're applying for citizenship, you can be able to tell immigration officers that, you know what, yes, I was born in Tanzania, I was born in Rwanda, I was born in Kenya, or even Europe, but my parents and grandparents were of Ugandan origin. We have seen cases of, let's say, actors. There's a famous British actor, he's a young man as well. He's called Daniel Kaluuya. But Daniel was born in the UK, but his parents are of Chiganda origin. They are Baganda, purely, even his grandparents. He even knows his Chika and all of that, his clan, his totem. So it's very easy for Daniel Kaluuya to become a Ugandan citizen because he can trace back his origin to Uganda. He can say, I even know my clan, my Chika, my totem, my full name is like Sekaluya or Sevana, something like that. Yes. So you can be able to trace back your origin. It's kind of related to citizenship by birth. You can trace back. Yeah.
And confirm yes. Well, very interesting. Now, one would wonder, really, what are the benefits of being a citizen? Because one would say, why would I bother to be a Ugandan citizen in case not by birth? No, what do you stand to benefit as a citizen? If you have people in this country, maybe whose citizenship is still questioned, why would they do all it takes to be a citizen of Uganda?
You're asking for the legal reasons or for
the legal and any other benefit?
Any other? Because
someone watching us, well, there's people today, your generation is very interesting, most when you go on social media.
Yeah.
Who is this? Who, you know, and some feel like maybe they could sell off their citizenship and get some money and allocate and all that. So what do I start to benefit?
To become a citizen? Well, I think there's a silver lining in everything. I believe Africa is the future. Everywhere else is taken. Europe, America, China, Asia, everywhere else, they're already saturated. They're actually looking forward to investing here in Africa. Now, when one becomes a citizen in Uganda, we have, trust me, I believe the Garden of Eden was even in Uganda. to be honest, because we're such a beautiful country. We have unlimited resources, beautiful people, wonderful weather. Actually, to be honest, majority of the businessmen who thrive in Uganda are foreigners. If you look at the top list of Forbes Uganda, you're going to see Mukwano, Ali Khan, Karim, then Sudhir. But all of those ones were also born here, but because their ancestors already saw the potential in what Uganda can offer. Meta, Madivani, all of them, you find that the current Meta who is running Meta Industries or Meta group of companies, you find it was his great-great-great-grandfather who was from India, but they already looked at this land and saw the potential in Uganda. So someone stands to benefit so much. You get to interact with people who are very welcoming. You get to enjoy our good weather. That good weather in turn can promote investment in terms of farming, in terms of, you know, good soils. Yes. When you become a citizen now, I'll give you the legal benefits, is that you enjoy all the benefits that a Ugandan citizen enjoys. Unfortunately, us as Ugandans, we may, especially us who are born here, we may not see the benefit that we get by being, or by just being a Ugandan citizen, because when you're born with something, you will not know its benefit until it's taken away from you. But someone else can look into your household and say, I think this person is very lucky. They have gone to good schools, their parents provide them. But for you in that house, you say, Daddy doesn't even give me 50,000 for pocket money. So on the outside, most foreigners will look at Uganda and say, I wish I can be a Ugandan citizen. I've visited immigration offices and many of them are hustling to become Ugandan citizens. They even renounce their citizenship that side. They don't want anymore. So there is so much to benefit from being a Ugandan. Just that we Ugandans, we don't see it, but there is so much to benefit.
I would say there would be so much to benefit because I think there are some laws. Uganda, we are not so much in ensuring people who are non-citizens don't get the benefits they're supposed to get. For example, I've done a number of land transactions. And recently I was going to purchase land from a Sudani. This person comes with a land title in their name. And then I consulted my legal team and they tell me, Robert, a foreigner is not supposed to own property. They can lease, they can do this. But go to lands there, check those land titles. You know? You find someone buys a house, a foreigner, land title transferred, you know, and you're like, so there would be so much. When we go to our refugee policy, we are praised by the international community. Uganda has one of the best refugee policies. But
open door policy.
Open door policy. But now, in Uganda, foreigners benefit whatever citizen is supposed to benefit. So what would be cut out? Not like you go to the United States. Maybe sometimes issues of work permit. That I've seen. Sometimes Uganda are very critical, our government, on that when your work permit expires. But then also sometimes that is also relative. If you're not these, you may have your work permit expire. When you go downtown, they'll tell you in terms of, this is where you find businesses, or, you know, we don't have a clear cut cut out that, well, if you're a foreigner, these certain things. When South Sudan Ugandans were riding borders left, and these guys now knew they could, right? It was go back home, people. We cannot take. So I think the benefits that Ugandans should be benefiting and make it exceptional. The only problem is they're not getting that.
The original Ugandans are not getting that.
The citizens, because I've traveled to quite a number of some countries, and it's clear cut. You even see it. Like
they'll treat you like a foreigner.
Yes.
This one is a citizen. Yes, you're right. I think we also need to tighten our laws when it comes to the distinction between foreigners and the distinction between original Ugandans who are citizens. However, the law also provides for that. For example, you're giving an example of refugees. Refugees are governed by the Refugee Act. So it gives refugees a little leeway on how to be comfortable in our country, but it also gives clear guidelines. I'll take you back to the example of the South Sudanese. You see, when you see a South Sudanese owning land, you first have to backtrack and see what did they do to own that land. You are right. Your legal team was right. A foreigner cannot own land. They can only lease land. However, if they have been given dual citizenship, or they have become a citizen by registration, then automatically they are citizen of Uganda. So you see the law is funny. It's not clear cut. It's like a wave in an ocean. There are always loopholes around the law. So you find that that's
no way I question this, because when I looked at these transactions, usually now in land you use a national ID.
Yes.
Or a passport or something. The documents coming were not Uganda. I'm like, then how did anything can happen in Uganda? Well,
that was a bit strange, but
yeah. Well, we'll be going for a short break, and when we return, we'll still be discussing more of issues regarding citizenship in our country. Stay with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra. Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
Get Dual with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
Franz Fanon said, "Each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission, fulfill it, or betray it." I know a man who, in fulfilling his life's mission, has raised the foundations of many generations.
With Kampala captured and the leader of the National Resistance Army, Yoweri Museveni, now president, their task is to move forward until they make contact with the UNLA troops.
Do you see the NRM as being naturally aligned to either the East or the West in particular?
No, we are aligned with Uganda and with Africa. This assumption of the Western countries, or of some outside countries, that we must either be for the East or for the West, is actually racist, to say the least, because we have got our own interests, and these are the ones we are pushing. And if we have got allies, those who agree with us, as far as our interests are concerned, then they are our friends.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back. Thank you for being with us here on UBC TV. In case you've just joined, I'm Robert Chirabonyonyitono, and I have Thierry Kahuma, who happens to be a lawyer with whom we are discussing issues regarding citizenship in our country and as of the laws of Uganda. Now, we had 4 categories, but there is one I had forgotten. People in diaspora are on my neck saying, Robert, what about dual citizenship? And I know it's not a privy to all countries in the world. There are countries where you can't have that dual citizenship. Yeah. Now, let's look at this as per Uganda's case.
As per Uganda, it's pretty clear-cut when it comes to constitution. We have Article 15, Clause 6 of the Constitution, which allows a citizen of Uganda to also attain dual citizenship from another country. So basically stating that a person who is already a citizen of Uganda can also apply elsewhere to become a dual citizen. If you're Ugandan, you can also apply to maybe Canada or the US or the UK, depending on also the other countries' laws, like you had said. Some countries, once you go there, they tell you renounce citizenship and become, let's say, an American or a Canadian. Yes, but for us in Uganda, we allow Ugandans also hold another piece of citizenship elsewhere. Yes.
So what do I do in terms of traveling? I can either, well, some things are very interesting, and of course they have a number of benefits. For me, one of the things that I enjoy is when it comes to voting. If you're not a citizen of Uganda, you don't vote.
Yes.
So you denied or you lose the enjoyment of choosing your leaders. A number of things, and more so I see this with the national ID being a very hard and important document. This we are going to see in a number of ways. But now let's go back to citizens that is registration.
Yes.
Can this be cancelled? Or is there any form of citizenship that can be cancelled by the government of Uganda according to our laws?
Yes, in accordance with, especially citizenship by registration can be cancelled. Now, there are certain, you see, just like something can be given to you, it can also be taken away. Citizenship by registration, once it has been granted to you, remember you have used a lot of things to apply for it. So meaning that the state can also take it away from you. Now, the grounds are pretty simple and straightforward. Number one, someone should not have attained this citizenship through lying or deceit or through deception. Meaning you should not have bribed, you shouldn't have lied on how you can get the citizenship. If for example, you're from Turkey, a Turk who wants to become a Ugandan citizen and they did it through registration, all your documents that you should have come with from Turkey should have been authentic and straightforward. So if later on they come to question your citizenship through registration, and they find that there was a loophole somewhere, or you lied about where you came from, which kind of hospital you were born in, or even if you're a Turk, even if you're from Turkey, they'll try and find out all these things about you. If they find that you did something dubious, then they're going to cancel your citizenship. If it is seen that you have done any action against Uganda, for example, if Uganda is fighting a certain country, if Uganda was fighting Al-Shabaab in Somalia or Al-Qaeda, or maybe let's say it sent its troops to Iraq or Congo, and you are collaborating with that rebel group, automatically citizenship is cancelled. So basically all the grounds are that if you do anything contrary to what a Ugandan would not have done, then your citizenship by registration is cancelled. Yes.
So it is not like that of birth, where automatically
it's finalized
it's finalized by the grace of God for you to be born in this country.
In this great state of ours.
My brother, Ugandans are the happiest people in East Africa. Research was conducted. So let me not go into that. You know, we have where we hear the land of milk and honey.
And honey, yes.
So someone may wake
Paradise.
up paradise. But one of the things that remains a fact is Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Yeah.
Because that is something that we cannot even bargain. God gave us this great country. That is why when Churchill reached here, he looked at the evergreen, the rivers and all that and said, yes, indeed, this is the Pearl of Africa, Winston Churchill. But of course, with modernity, civilization, and problems that accrued over time, employment, then depending on which side of the coin you are, then that will determine what you call Uganda. But we may not move away from the God-given definition of our motherland. Now, still looking at citizenship, let's also understand there's this, people assume that by marrying a Ugandan, you become a citizen of Uganda.
Yes.
You know, a white man comes in here, then he says, I'm a Ugandan. Have my children and my wife, I'm a Ugandan. We've seen our girls here run over the so-called, you said, Bazungu, everywhere. Thinking, no.
They see a tall white man, American height, and they run after him.
They run the Nebetega, you know, that common self. Because they believe now, if this man marries me, if you have a child, automatically I'll become. Let's look at these things of assuming. A foreigner comes here, then also thinks. Recently I was looking at some stories of these people that come to do roads here. And I didn't know there's an association of wives of Chinese in this country.
I actually didn't know about that.
Well, Uganda is very interesting.
Wow.
Association of Wives of Chinese. And I got to understand that
That's
most of these Chinese actually are working on construction of roads. So one had manhandled and then the kid and all that. So it was a police case. When I picked interest as a journalist, then they have an association. Those guys are
they are everywhere.
Doing a great job.
They're all over the place.
In that area. So does marriage, you know, does it qualify me? We see many go to the registrar. They suggest a marriage. Does it come anywhere? Does it come anywhere in making someone a Ugandan citizen?
When they are not.
Simply because I married, I gave birth with a Ugandan. So.
Okay, I like to explain by example. If a Chinese, or if let's say an Italian man came and married a Ugandan woman, he liked her, he saw her beauty, and he said, okay, I'm going to take this one as my bride. Now, this is also under still citizenship through registration. If he married here under the laws of Uganda, and he married here on Ugandan soil, it puts him halfway across the door. It puts him one step forward. Now, it's not yet fully defined that he's already a citizen. He's still a citizen of Italy, but if he has married a Ugandan woman here on Ugandan soil and they registered here at URSB, let's say they did a civil marriage or even a church, already he has some of his documents here in Uganda. He's already a married citizen. He's a married person here. Now, if he spends some more time, this takes us back to permanent residency. If he spends some more time and he becomes a permanent resident, he can also apply for that. You don't just become one. You have to apply for permanent residency. So if he spends some more time there, and then he then discusses with his Ugandan bride and says, you know what, I think we can actually apply to become a citizen. He then goes and does the formal filing process under immigration. Then he can become a citizen under registration, but he entered there through marriage. And you find that most foreigners are doing that. They're using that route to do that. Likewise, our Ugandan women are also doing that with foreigners. They find a Mzungu here, he looks nice, he has some money. He takes her back to the United States. She lives there for some time, and she acquires dual citizenship. Then she also becomes a citizen of the US.
Then plan B works out later. Very interesting life that people live. Well, time is not so much on my side, but one of the things I know, I follow you so much on Simply Legal. That is, this young man has got a YouTube channel, and he gives a lot of legal information there. Simply Legal, you will enjoy his bit of sharing knowledge. You know, knowledge is always power, and when it comes to issues of the law, ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Of course, it's never a defense. It's
never a defense. You don't just, I didn't know, me have been here for some time, therefore I'm a Ugandan. Now, let's also look at one bit before I let you go.
Yes.
Investment, business into a country. Can that at any point qualify you to be?
To be a citizen?
Yes, because we've talked about some, I don't want to mention names of people, but some people who have given immensely into investment and business in this country. So does that qualify them? And one will tell you, no, that one, he's great and great, so he is. He's great and great, so he is.
So I'm trying to get your question. If someone
invests massively in the country, we have businesses, I don't want to mention them, the people behind these businesses. But these guys have put so much in this country. They've employed so many people. Their families are known families for investment here. So does that contribution, can it guarantee you becoming a citizen?
It depends. Were their countries, have they been in existence in Uganda for years?
Some have.
It's a bit tricky because if a British man came and invested here and had all of his investments here in Uganda, and then he passes away, if he had not applied for citizenship in Uganda, that means that he still wasn't a citizen. Even if he lived here, he died and everything. But then his children who were given birth to here in Uganda now carry on the mantle. Then they become Ugandan citizens, but still of British origin. So it's the same as the Meta or Madivani group of companies. They have been here for almost 200 years, but they're Indians by origin, but they're Ugandans by birth. They have been here for years. They are known families. They have invested. They have employed thousands of Ugandans, if not millions.
So for clarity purposes, if someone has 2 Indians came in Uganda 90 years ago, they are gone, their children have been educated in Uganda, they don't have to apply, they automatically become?
If they came 90 years before, that is way older than Uganda as a country, because Uganda is about 60 years now. So all these laws, the immigration laws and constitution, came into place in 1995. So from 1995 onwards, then there is where laws concerning citizenship take centerfold, meaning that if those 2 Indians came 90 years ago, that was about 1920. So in about 1920 or 1910, automatically their families, their own, become Ugandan citizens, because by then the laws concerning citizenship and immigration were not strong. In fact, they were not even there. That was before the 50s, before the 30s. So their families kind of acclimatized into Uganda, if you get what I mean. They kind of blended in and became Ugandans automatically. But those 2 Indians will still be of Indian origin. I don't know whether I've tried to explain it. Yes.
Okay, well, let me let you go. Let me have your concluding remark.
Thank you so much for hosting me on UBC TV, a Good Morning Show. This has been a very engaging, actually it's been one of my best shows here on UBC. Once again, my name is Counsel Terry Kahuma. I am a young lawyer. I currently run a legal YouTube channel called Simply Legal by Terry Kahuma, where I simplify the law creatively. And there you can be able to share my different insights on the law, on current events, on troublesome legal topics like land, family squabbles, whatever it is. And I also have a legal mobile app called Fameron, but I have an app which connects lawyers and people together. So it's kind of like Uber for lawyers or Safe Border for lawyers. Yes. So on that app, someone can easily be able to go on the platform and be able to find lawyers who can be able to help you with any legal issue.
So when do you do pro bono?
On the app or personally?
Personally. Because I have people there, and, you know, lawyers are becoming very expensive. Very expensive.
But legal services cost some money, and that's how lawyers earn, to be honest. But we are mandated by Law Council and Law Society to at least handle some pro bono cases, at least once in a year. We do give pro bono back.
Please let me know. Have some people that mostly when it comes to land issues that need pro bono, they keep on saying, hey, Robert, and I'm tired of helping them, to be honest, because a lawyer asks just to appear in court and don't want to mention that figure.
But of course he needs some facilitation. Yeah, because as we know, all of us human beings are motivated by something.
True.
If someone is to give your case full attention, they need some facilitation. Yes.
Okay. See you later on. Of course, not in court. You know, and someone tells you, okay, you argue, and someone tells you, let's meet in court. You know, it's not good news. But let's meet when God enables us to be. It's been interesting having you and, of course, learning more regarding citizenship in Uganda. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow, if the mighty Lord wishes to. God bless you.
Bye.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.